transition caused me lots of grief. My father, my mother, my youngest sister transitioned. But when my son passed, it was absolutely one of the hardest things I had experienced. In the space I found, I was looking for something and someone that could help. Grief is very intense. Moving through it, I learned several things, and I wanted to give back. I got through the grief. This is called Love Showed Us the Way.
Hello, women, wherever you are. You are listening to Love Show Me the Way for women that have lost a child. And I am your host, EMaia. And we are talking about how to heal from the grief of a child passing. We've been talking about this for a little bit. And one of the things that I know, being a mother that has lost her son, is going from where you are to where you want to be can be emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally rough. It can be draining when you first start out. And you have the external world and the internal world. Most of us are having to go back to work or be in front of friends and relatives where you have to kind of put up and put out and look like you're okay when in fact you're still feeling that pain or that ugliness. This show is to help you go through that and come out on the other side. I have such passion and desire for my sisters, for my fellow sisters that have mothers that have lost a child because I went through it. I'm 4 years on the other side now. And I'm coming from starting on day 1 of August of 2020 to just coming past in September of 2024. It was not the easiest thing, but I will tell you that I'm here and it's necessary. I know there are some groups that believe that you can grieve all your life, and there's groups that are grievers forever. Bless them. I don't want to say anything bad about them. What I do want to tell you is there is a way to honor your loved ones, your child, in ways that allows you to keep moving forward and not get stuck down in the grief. Grief can be debilitating. It certainly can be discouraging. It can take your energy away from you. And so this show is to help you know you can get through it and that our loved ones want us to get through it. No matter what your spiritual thoughts or ideas or beliefs are, I want to recognize everyone and whatever they think and feel about the afterlife. Some people don't even believe in one. But what I know is our loved ones don't want us grieving forever. Grief carries so much energy that you can't do and live your best and fullest life if you are still grieving that deep grief every day. I wake up every morning and say good morning to my son. And before I go to bed, I say good night to him. Now, you might not want to do that. But what I want to tell you is that you can incorporate your loved ones into your everyday so you don't have to feel that they're gone. We all have memories and stories. I'm sure you have pictures of when they were babies and maybe pictures when they were older. I don't know how old your child was. However, we all have something that if we don't have anything physically, we have something in our mind that we can use every day and cherish that every day. And that's what I do. I actually took a couple pictures of my son, placed them throughout the house in different areas so that I could look at him and see him. And it brings a smile to my face. I incorporate him in the day, and that's how I say good morning to him. And that's also I say good night to him. And if you experience this, I can tell you, I have testimonies, including mine, where they show up in dreams for you and in other ways that you can communicate with them and they communicate back. You just have to be open to it because they want you to live your highest and best life. And let's pretend you don't believe in any of this. What I want you to know is that you came here for a purpose. Being a mother was one of them. But you came here to be and to do and to bring something to the planet. And there are actions that you can take that will help you with making your future and bringing your future into what you came here to do. We all have purpose. Every last one of us, with children, without children. But I want to remind our women, my sisters, that you have purpose. And it wasn't just being a mother or a sister. You have something to bring to the planet that is so necessary, especially in where we are right now. I want to tell you that I saw a little bit of a story recently on YouTube. Oprah had a show where she was bringing women together about abortion rights. And I don't want to get into the story about the abortion rights or anything like that. What I want you to know is there was a woman there that had lost her child. She was an adult child. She was having a miscarriage. And the doctors wouldn't touch her because of the abortion rights that are in so many countries. And so they let her suffer for 22 hours until finally they decided at that time they would try to do something. And she passed. It was preventable. She could still be here right now. I know some of you have amazing stories about how your children left, whatever their age are. But she said that the newspapers came to her wanting to tell her story. ProPublica came to her wanting to tell her story, and she told them, get away from me. I don't want to talk to anybody. She was in deep grief. But what she decided, and the reason why she was on the show, is she did not want her child to be just another statistic. She wanted people to know that she was a loving child, that she had a career, that she did things for people. And that's the reason why she was there. She was still crying and in tears, but she did not want her daughter to go down as an unknown statistic. And so I'm telling you this story because each one of our loved ones want the same for us. We know we have memories that we can share. We don't have to go on television or YouTube. If you don't want to, you can if you do. But you don't have to. But you can incorporate them in your life and share their story, their joy, the memories that you had. And this might be part of the epiphany that we all need to take us to our highest and best life of what our purpose was and is to be. If you'll recall many years ago, the Mothers Against Mad Drunk Driving, they experienced their kids dying from a drunk driver. And they used that experience to build a nonprofit organization to help other mothers, but also to do something so that people would be fined around driving drunk. They were actually able to do something that it lowered the amount of drunk driving because they were able to put laws in effect so that it would be longer sentences people and harsher sentences people would receive So they used their grief to be able to do something good in the world. And so I want you to know today that your grief is a necessary process, but it is meant only to take you from A to B. It is not meant for us to stay in it. And so the show is to remind you that your loved ones don't want us suffering always, but also that it's necessary for you to live your highest and best life, to walk through the grief and not live in the grief. And so one of the things that you could do to end this process is to know a couple of things. First, that you can choose what you focus on and what you feel. So when it comes to grief, you can choose another feeling. Some people feel that you get all in it and you can't come out. You can decide that you want to feel something different. And you can choose what you want to focus on and what you feel at any time of the day. People will have the same feelings, the same grief, and will do it differently and have different experiences. So the number one thing I want you to know is you can choose what you feel and you can choose what you focus on. So you can make a conscious and a subconscious decision to make this change. The other thing is that when you're looking at grief and you're trying to come out of it, one of the things that you might ask me, what is the good in this? So we know it heals you and allows you to deal with the loss that you're feeling, the loss of seeing them, feeling them, hugging them, kissing me. But it doesn't do much if you stay in it too long, because it will deplete your energy. So what you can ask is questions can be asked and answered to help you through that process. So one of the things that you can do is, what does it mean for me to come through this grief? How can I help somebody else with it? What does this mean? Your brain is made for survival. You'll go in freeze or flight. But happiness and joy is something that we have to choose. And it's also anything that we give meaning to, we will feel happiness and joy. So this feeling of being in a grief and the feeling of wanting to come out is very necessary. And I'm giving you the reasons why you want to come through it and why you want to feel happiness and joy again. The last thing that I want to say is that the emotion of what you're feeling will help you with what you're going to do. So as I told you, the woman came on the show because she did not want her daughter to be a statistic. You can choose some meaning so that you can feel the emotion, so that you can get up and do whatever you need to do to come out of it. You can ask yourself, what can I do? What am I going to do? What do I want to give to myself, to my family, to the world, that you will remember her? You'll never forget him or her. I know people that still are grieving after their pets because of their unconditional love. I know I did for a minute. I had a dog and a cat, I will tell you, that I cried so hard about because of their unconditional love that animals do. But I'm talking about your loved one right now. I'm talking about your son or your daughter that left, that you thought that you would be living, they would be living, and that they would bury you. And so I know it's kind of out of nature, but it's happening more than we'd like to even discuss or acknowledge. And because it is, it means that you are still here because you have work to do, and you can do something in the name of your son or daughter that will give you purpose, that will let them be remembered, and you have happiness and joy in so doing it. So these are just some of the things that I wanted to share with you today. I'm hoping to have classes and a women membership. So if you want to know more and you want to be in touch with me, you can email me at loveshowmetheway@gmail.com. You can also go to my website at loveshowmetheway.com. That's www.loveshowmetheway.com, because it is love for your child. It is love for the universe. It is love from the universe and love from Spirit God, whatever you call it, that will help us to make this change. I know that it happened for me. So I want to thank you for listening to me. Hope to hear from you soon, and keep listening to Love Show Me the Way. Thank you. Love you. Peace and blessings. Until the next time.